Marhaba, and hello to our brothers and sisters around the world once again. My name is Dr. Jack Dempsey, American historian and writer, living in Crete these days. And my friend here is Mohammed Jihad Ismail, a historian and writer, living in Deir el-Balah, which is part of the Gaza City area in the Gaza territory. We've been making, this is our 16th program now. You can see them all at 37 Dionysus, 37 Dionysus, which is the name you see below that uploaded this video. We talk about everything from immediate Palestinian crises and political issues and so forth to the latest news, to the latest terrible and perhaps sometimes promising events. And we are trying to keep the discussion of Palestinian issues alive before the world in our own little humble way. We both believe very much as historians and individual human beings that these are problems that can be solved. If you look at a film called The Land Speaks Arabic here on YouTube, you can listen for an hour to different ancestors, if you will, the elders of the many communities in Israel, Palestine that used to live quite well in peace together before the coming of the Zionist movement in the 1940s and everything that's happened since then. So today we're going to be talking about the archaeology of Gaza, its ancient sites and its contemporary efforts to save those sites in the midst of, well, bombings and missile attacks and other kinds of damage that in effect can threaten to erase a glorious past altogether. But first, Mohammed and I would like to mention a couple of things and share a quick discussion about them. Our program or project called Family to Family, where if you're looking for a way to directly help Palestinian people, you can do as my wife and I have chosen to do. We use Western Union to send an agreed amount of money, financial help, to Mohammed and his family. It's all completely a function of our friendship and our agreement as to what is needed and what we can do. There is no one else involved. There's no profit. There's no any losing of the funds whatsoever. They go directly to the family. And as you'll see on my blog called Jack Dempsey Writer at WordPress.com, Jack Dempsey Writer at WordPress.com, you'll see photos of Muhammad, his beautiful family, and the improvements that they're making now to their home. They've been five-person family living in one room for the longest time. And now they've been able to expand 3 more rooms in the house that they have and raise their standard of living. So any way that you want to directly help Palestinian people without banks, without NGOs, without anybody else in between, stealing the financial help that you send for $10 for medicine, $20 for milk, $25 so they can buy a chicken to roast for a dinner, because that's one of course, the great crises in Gaza, the shortages of food, medicine, clean drinking water, on and on. So think about that, family to family, and you'll see more information and connections in the links below. The second thing takes me to ask finally Mohammed to speak to us today. Sorry for my long introduction, but Mohammed, how is it going with your house and your building project? I've seen some beautiful pictures coming in, and it sure looks like you've done a lot of work already.
Yes, brother. Good evening for you, and good morning for our friends in the far western hemisphere of this earth. I know now in USA, Canada, etc. Now they have morning. Uh, so good morning for them, and good evening for our European and Asian friends. Uh, Everything is good, brother. We are achieving good progress. We installed the doors, we finished painting, and very soon, maybe within this week, 5, maximally 6 days, we are going to install windows. After that, we have to make the electricity and water supplies. Everything is good. I invite all our friends to accompany us in our journey, this interesting journey of improving our house. I invite them to accompany us, through your WordPress website. We are going, and we already did this. We are going
That's right.
to publish more photos in the coming days and weeks. And of course, we already did this, so they can go through your WordPress website and they can find previous photos. And if they keep following up, they will see the future photos of our project.
Yes, and I've seen, of course, the photos in putting them up, but just to say that they've installed beautiful tile floors. They've spackled and painted the walls. They're installing windows soon, as you just heard, and other accoutrements that make life more livable in the horrible situation that they're in. And I want to assure people of one other thing. Muhammad is a well-known and respected writer and historian in his Gazan community. He's just now this year, as you'll see a couple of programs ago, published a new book of Gazan people's history called Fedai and the Sea. It's a story of refugees from the 47 and 60, 48 and 67 wars, uh, Palestinian people who were forced to flee by ship as opposed to walking a long way as Muhammad's own grandparents did. So he is really well known in their community, well connected, and he really can introduce you to very specific individuals, children, people who need your help. And we hope that you'll think about doing that. The other thing we always ask is that please write to your own government. 5 minutes, 10 minutes to write a letter, an email, make a phone call, and demand as a citizen of your own country that the policies change that now support Israeli apartheid against the Palestinian people. It's getting worse than ever. As of this week, it's illegal to show the Palestinian flag. Is that a symbol of strength, a sign of strength, or a sign of weakness? Why would one have to do such a thing unless there were great wrongs that waited for justice? And you can help that with whatever kind of involvement you'd like to do. So, Mohammed, just want to ask you, where would you like to begin with the archaeology of Gaza? We've done 4 or 5 programs on some of the known archaeological finds that document the long history of Philistines, Canaanites, and other peoples who became known as now the Palestinians. Many people would argue, well, they're not the same people, but they are the living inheritors of that place. They are the native indigenous population and the only indigenous population in that place. They are therefore the inheritors of all the different cultural history that comes down to us. And Muhammad, we were talking yesterday when we got cut off, but we were beginning with just the immense age of Gaza as an archaeological site, and therefore how precious a place it would be to be able to document the earliest forms of civilization in the Mediterranean, which led to, well, everything else. So you were saying yesterday that I think it was goes back to at least 4,500 years, and there are recent finds there that take you back 8,000 years. Is that correct? Tell us about
Yes,
the new
yes,
discoveries there at the Tell.
yes, yes. Let me first of all make a brief introduction for our
Sure.
friends, just to give them a brief idea about the archaeological background of Gaza. In fact, Gaza is classified as southern Levant area. Gaza is a very a prominent geographical location along the history of the Middle East, because Gaza locates in the middle between the Egyptian civilization in the south or in the southern west and the Canaanite, Aramite, Mesopotamian civilizations in the
Yep.
north and in the eastern north. So Gaza is a turning point or a crossing point or a joint. We can classify it as a joint between those great cultures.
And it
Uh,
was a major port with the West. That is to say, the Mediterranean Sea itself, the Aegean civilization, which included the Minoans, the Greeks, many, many connections all through history. And like in Crete, when you walk down a street here today, you can see ruins from everybody who was anybody in early to modern European history. All the remains are there, but they are irreplaceable and they're also under threat. Mohammed, would you like to tell about the latest discovery there at the Tell, you said, where they found
Yeah,
the most ancient ruins so far, and what was found?
yeah. Just let me clarify something briefly before talking about those excavations.
Yep.
Let me tell our friends that the oldest uncovered archaeological site in Gaza dates back to the Chalcolite age, the Copper Age, the age which locates between Neolithic and Bronze Age. This archaeological site dates back to 4,000 or 4,200 years BC. So we speak about 6,000 or
Mhm.
6,200 years from now.
Mhm.
This is the oldest known and uncovered archaeological site. Uh,
And I could point out one thing about Ascalon, which is the next major seaport up the coast. The earliest digs documented there run to 7,900 BCE. So that's 10,000 years, 8 plus 2,000. And the reason they've probably been able to find the older ones there is that Ascalon has not been as besieged and confined and bombed and taken over so many different times as Gaza has. So if Gaza has the opportunity, you'll see an even more ancient history there, don't you think?
yes, yes, brother, yes. Uh, now we have too many, too many tracks for talk. Let me clarify something important. Let me speak about the excavations at Tel Al Ujul
Yes.
archaeological site. Yeah,
Yes.
Tel Al Ujul archaeological site is a very, very prominent archaeological site in Gaza. It locates in the middle area of Gaza Strip during the days of PA, in the cradle of PA, exactly in the year 1996, 1997, something like that, PA contracted with the Swedish archaeological team, was headed or was led by the Swedish archaeologist Mr. Uh, Peter, Mr. Peter Fisher. Mr. Peter Fisher, he is a prominent Swedish archaeologist. Peter Fisher came to Tel Al Ujul and he made very, very long excavations, uh, and he found amazing results. He found so many links between people of the sea, the people who migrated from Crete, from the Minoan civilization islands, from the Ionian, from the Aegean islands. Those people, as you know, left their islands in the falling of the Bronze Age and in the cradle of the Iron Age, and they lived in the southern coast of Palestine. He found so many ornament pieces, so many pottery pieces. He found gold jewelry. He found even some amphora bottles contain some wine, some grains. Those amphora bottles came from Cyprus, from
Hmm.
Crete.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. Also, he found some pieces or some lumps of pumice. You know, it's a very soft kind of rocks,
Yes.
and yeah, and he deduced after made some researches that these lumps of pumice came as a result of the eruption of Thera volcano in the 16th century BC.
Yes, and many people, or probably most, don't know that it's said among the literary historians that the original name of Gaza was Minoa. And that may be the name by which the ancient people of Crete, a very advanced and successful and peaceful and international civilization, made their contacts long before the period of the Sea Peoples. After the Cretans had fallen, they became, some of them, the Sea Peoples and were sweeping through the Eastern Mediterranean. But Gaza, as well as other communities in the Near East, had many ancient trading connections already with the Palestinian people. One other thing I'd like to mention, too, that I'm sure is reflected in the dig you just described at the Tell, Muhammad, is that the most outstanding trait of the Palestinian civilization has been its eclecticism. It's always made up of the Aegeans, the local Canaanites, Amorites, all kinds of different cultural people, including even Egyptians who did business there and probably, as business will, encourage people to intermarry. So no one had the great power. No one knew everything. No one could do or decide everything. But all these cultures were intermixing together to produce a very original and very eclectic civilization that they find in every dig. And this goes down the road from the Chalcolithic to the Neolithic to the Copper Age, the Bronze Age, the Greeks, the Romans, the Byzantines, the Crusaders. Gaza has always been a tremendous place of mixing people. And that is the nature of its, you could say, nationality or ethnicity. And that's a tremendous legacy for you and your community to inherit, Mohammed.
Yes, brother. Just to link our ideas with each other, to give the people who are watching us a very clear photo or a very
Yes.
clear image about our topic. Let me link our speaking about the people of the sea and their relations with Gaza coast or Gaza Strip.
Yep.
Let me link this with the religion, the ancient religion of Gaza. In fact, I want to tell people something, maybe something strange. All of us, we know that Palestine is the cradle of Christianity, and Jesus the Christ was born in Bethlehem, and originally Mary came from Nazareth, and he made his resurrection in Jerusalem. So all the journey of Jesus was in Palestine. But let me tell you something important, brother. In fact, Gaza remained pagan city until the fourth century. After the fourth century, Gaza, the only Palestinian city who remained pagan. They didn't convert to Christianity at all. So they were worshipping the god Zeus, and the local god of Gaza was named Zeus Myrnas. Zeus Myrnas was god of Gaza, and Gaza used to shake until the fourth century after the birth of Jesus.
Oh, I think we may have lost Mohammed again. Today is January 14th, 2023, and Mohammed and I tried to talk again yesterday to do this program, and we got cut off at about the same time. So it appears that we've lost Mohammed again, both voice and picture, at about the same point in the program. And we are really unable to explain the technical difficulties that entail. Mohammed's signal is always very weak, needlessly so. he has maybe 8 hours of electricity a day, and he works through battery power to do these programs at the latter end of a given day. And we are constantly interrupted in this way. So we are rapidly losing our doubt that the Israelis, of course, are watching every word, small potatoes that we are, and are really not happy that we're trying to work against their will of destroying and silencing and vanishing the Palestinian people. So we're going to do everything we can against that. And we, again, are small potatoes, just two international individuals trying to provide the world with a way of seeing the history that enables future justice and equality and peace in this region of the world. I'm going to close there for now, and I hope you will excuse this problem, but this is what keeps happening to us. And we thought for a second time, you might like to see it. So here we are. I will try again to bring back Mohammed as soon as we can, and we will continue the discussion of Gaza and its ancient and modern archaeology and the problems thereon too. Last note, if you'd like to see pictures meanwhile, and well, study up, get a little information on your own of some of the most beautiful sites, Roman mosaics just discovered in the Gaza area, there are two websites. One is called Al Monitor, A-L, next word, Monitor, Monitor. And you'll find a lot of photographs and information about digs going on in the Gaza territory and the issues around that. The other website has even more spectacular photos called forensicarchitecture.org. Forensicarchitecture.org. You'll see the very forensic photos of the war damages, the bomb craters and so forth in the middle of archaeological sites that just appear to have fallen there during attacks on other targets. But the residents of Gaza don't believe it's all by accident. So if you want to, in advance of our next program, hopefully we'll see you again, take a look at some of those finds. They're all there for you. There is even a Gaza Museum of Archaeology called Al Mahaf. You could perhaps look up or Google and see what you can find out about that. It's a thriving place full of history way back to our original roots as a Mediterranean centered civilization. And we hope to see you next time. Peace to all our brothers and sisters.